right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is, of course, February 16, 2024, and I'm expecting pandemonium in the streets of the United States of America on news that, just like I told you, the Federal Reserve and the central bank has been lying to you, stealing from you. And the whole design and intention of all of this, everything we experienced in recent years, was the wealth transfer, was to create a massive amount of enormous debt that they could never pay back. Now we have skyrocketing inflation reports coming out, and people are acting like this is a surprise. The only reason that there is inflation is because what they did to you in recent years. The only reason the 0.001% now control more of all the world's resources and wealth is because what they just did to you. The only reason you're in World War III right now in the Middle East with the BRICS nations is because of what they did to you. The only reason you may or may not have lost your job in recent years was because of what they did. You catching the trend here? Are you picking up on the trend? Because these are massive reports as January wholesale prices rise 0.3% more than expected, proving my point once again that inflation is now running rampant in the United States of America. It's why there's zero affordability. You can't afford to buy a home. It's why I designed islandproject.com. It's why you can't get ahead. So let's take a look at this. January, hot wholesale prices rise more than expected. Another sign of exuberant inflation. Now, of course, what is the central bank going to do here? What can they do? Well, what they should be doing is raising interest rates. But the point is they don't plan on paying off the debt. There's an astonishing report that came out earlier today. You should already know this. But of course, the interest payments alone on the national debt now exceeds the entire spending on national defense. All of our planes, all of the BOMBs, all the B-52 BOMBERSs, everything that's going on in Israel. The debt, just the interest payments, exceeds now in all of America greater than the defense budget in its totality in the United States of America, and is why America has collapsed. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to rush your money out of the banks now like your life depends on it. Every tick higher in crypto and Bitcoin proves my freaking point. And listen to this. Wholesale prices rise more than expected in January, further complicating the inflation picture, adding to a U.S. Department of Labor report on Friday. The producer price index, a measure of prices received by producers of domestic goods and services, rose more than expected, the biggest move since August. Economists surveyed by Dow Jones have been looking for an increase of just 0.1%, and it broke past those numbers, unlike anything we have ever seen since the Great Recession here in 2008-09, another inside job scam of which they stole from the American people in the form of taxpayer-infused bailouts for the rich. We have had over 5 banks go to zero in recent months. May I remind you, Credit Suisse, Silvergate, Silicon Valley, Citizen Bank, the list goes on and on, Signature Bank, etc. Also, we have some very damning and damaging news out of the UK, now officially entering a recession for the first time since 2008 and 09. Well, you know what I'm expecting? A full-blown depression, because that's what the United States of America is in. But what people don't understand, it's an affordability, hyperinflationary depression. You see, when Zimbabwe collapses, as is the case of the United States, when the Argentinian peso, so to speak, goes into the toilet, when it sinks to oblivion during this upcoming selection, right? It is an affordability crisis. It means you can't afford anything. It means you won't own crap. It means you're going to be stolen from continuously. It means stocks are going to crash. It means your 401k and IRAs will be worthless in the coming days and weeks and months. And this report came out, of course, from the Wall Street Journal. Don't take it from me. $1 trillion conundrum. The U.S. government's mounting debt bill now exceeds all of the total funding, just in interest alone, of the entire national defense budget here in the United States of America. We are expecting, I know you understand this, guys, but we are expecting absolute pandemonium in the streets. Now, also breaking report, verdict in Donald Trump's civil fraud trial, is coming to a close. A $364 million penalty in the New York civil case as he is under continuous attack. Now, keep in mind, this is the former president of the United States who should have immunity as the world's leader in a crisis in 2020. And now this out of New York. A New York judge ruled Friday against Donald Trump, imposing a $364 million penalty over what the judge ruled was a years-long scheme to dupe banks and others with financial statements that inflated the former president's wealth. Absolute lies. Absolute detestable lies. The only frauds are the central banks and the banks themselves. Donald Trump has never received a bailout. He has never received fake taxpayer-infused monies like JP Morgan Chase, which of course funded the whole Epstein racketeering trafficking ring in recent years. But this is what the elites want, and you must understand this. General Greene will tell you the truth as always. They're promoting a civil WAR here in the United States, and so they've got the people eating right out of their hands, which is exactly what they want. So I expect Trump, the fighter that he is, to fight this tooth and nail. In addition to that, it's only strengthened his campaign for the presidency in 2024. God bless him and his family. I have my disagreements with Trump on certain issues, but I do stand with him in these absolute heinous, hideous attacks. But again, it's only an example of the fraud that is the United States of America. That's why you need to get your money out of the banks right away. Very, very damaging information coming. Also, we had huge news earlier today. The Apple Vision Pro, the new goggles that they're putting on everybody's heads, well, there's actually huge side effects to it. In fact, Apple Computers has cited the following side effects. I mean, big surprise, of course not, of putting toxic radioactive radiation goggles on your freaking skull, which I believe will cause cancer, just like we know cell phones do. But hey, don't take it from me. Don't listen to me. They say that it has the following side effects. This is for the Apple Vision Pro and, of course, also the Oculus to some degree. And I'm sure cancer will be added shortly, along with sudden DATH, also stroke and heart attacks. I'm sure will be added very, very soon. Hey, I want you to answer this question for me. Do you think big tech will be removed from legal liability like these other companies? If, let's say, you perish while wearing the goggles on your head, or you develop a stage 4 brain tumor a couple years from now, will they also be relieved from their legal liability, as were these other companies? Apple warns that the Apple Vision Pro may aggravate some medical conditions or increase your risk of, quote, injury or discomfort. These conditions include migraines, chronic headaches, dizziness, vertigo, eye or vision conditions, binocular vision conditions, psychological conditions, inner ear disorders, dry eyes, itchiness, swelling of the eyelids, infections of the eyes, eyelids or skin around the eyes, skin allergies or sensitivities, full-blown aggressive seizures that could result in DATH, and balance or gait conditions. That's right. And the American people just love this stuff, don't they? Not you tuning in. I know you're my loyal audience, but the American people have they woken up yet? Have they figured it out yet? Or are they still this absolutely blinded? So this is damning information as the stock market is poised for an imminent crash. U.S. stocks will collapse. You heard it from General Greene here first. You need to get into crypto. You need to get into real assets. You need to be buying Island Project, our first tokenized real estate portfolio. You don't have to be an accredited investor. You don't have to be rich. We accept non-accredited investors. Read our terms and disclaimers. Link below. You can fill out a simple 5-minute application on the best diamond nuts real estate in the world. In fact, I'll be uploading a video later today on our brand new shocking development and acquisition in Kapalua Bay, right on the ocean and the beach. I'll do like a little 2-minute broadcast to just show you this amazing scope of this property that we just closed on. Because again, what is our ethos and our mission statement? Freedom, liberty, success, victory, all American, all Americana. All of those things, getting our money out of the banks, deploying it into the hyperinflationary assets that they don't want you to own. So, of course, as U.S. stocks now crash 157 points, and we are expecting pandemonium in the streets, we've also been witness to Bitcoin rallying, just like I had predicted just over a year ago. In fact, if you follow on my Twitter, you'll see right here, posted December 5th, 2022, I said it was your last chance to buy Bitcoin, to go all in buying Bitcoin. I told you you'd get rich, diamond nuts rich, buying Bitcoin in December 2022 when Bitcoin was trading at just 16K. If you took my advice, and it's not financial advice, you've now tripled your freaking bank account in just a short period of time, because your general is always right. Your general is the victory. Your general is the truth warrior and destroyer. Let's also take a look just in general where we are going, pun intended. CoinMarketCap.com. Again, I've made some extremely aggressive moves recently, adding to my whale position of Tezos XTZ, what I believe is the number one smart contract, self-amending programmatic technology in the world with extremely fast transactions. It is upgradable, which a lot of people don't understand. I encourage you to learn about this. Join us at school at islandprojectclub.com as soon as you can and get everything that you need to know to pivot, leverage, and profit in this environment. For those of you that aren't aware, Bitcoin will overtake the successive market caps of Google, Amazon, and Microsoft and Tesla combined in the coming years. Bitcoin is now trading at an astonishing, record-breaking $1 trillion plus USD equivalent, and it's going much, much higher. Again, all the critics have been wrong. If you've listened to me, you're freaking rich now. As a part of BitcoinRich.com, IslandProjectClub.com, our real estate portfolio at IslandProject.com. Talk to Papa John, 808-442-2934. That's 808-442-2934. Again, you don't have to be an accredited investor. It's very easy. You just fill out the app to the best of your ability. We filed a private placement not long ago, did all the paperwork, all the necessary means to an end, crossing the T's, dotting the I's in preparation for this bull market. We have been actively acquiring and funding new properties every single month since we began in the late previous July. We now own 3 beautiful properties. I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way to 12 coming. I'm going to be buying a large ski lodge in Park City, Utah next, as well as internationally diversifying worldwide to protect the American people and to get their money and remove them from the failing, collapsing financial institutions, which are about to set up CBDCs in the digital era. Trust the plan. Trust the freaking plan. And let's talk about that in closing today while you take your aggressive action in the links below, up here, and down here. And call my father. The CBDC reset is now imminent. Now that they have the inflation to blame, it's now imminent. Now that World War III has been kicked off by design, by total design and pre-planning in Israel, they can move everybody to the digital reset. Now that the UK is in an official recession, I would argue a depression, they can now move to the CBDC reset. Now that all the wealth has mostly been transferred, property values haven't gone down at all, they're skyrocketing. Our real estate portfolio in Maui Booyah has already 3x'd since we started. If you would have bought a home for $2 million, it's worth $6 now here in Maui and many other states. In fact, Arizona real estate prices are also skyrocketing as Bay Area residences, mostly in Silicon Valley, are now buying all of Republican red Arizona and now forcing it blue. And this is happening all over the United States of America, pricing out hardworking Americans, people like you that do the right thing. You're so busy attempting to put food on the table, you don't have time to pay attention to the hyperinflationary collapse. You just get hit hard when you go to Walmart and you look at your bill, or you go to TGI Fridays and you've got a bill for $150 to feed your children, and you continue to be screwed by this system. And then you witness the political fallout in a system outside of your control, where even our former president is under so much attack, he might even be the next JFK, God forbid, in the United States, because the cesspool of these demonic evil entities, the same ones running the Epstein trafficking ring, funding it. JP Morgan Chase funded Epstein's trafficking ring. And you have Americans that still do business with these hideous financial institutions. Well, I have newsflash for you. You are the problem. We are the solution. God bless. Jesus Christ is king. And I am your general. IslandProject.com. I am pumped today. I've got a massive workout planned. Already did 300 push-ups. I'll be hitting a run, and I'm getting ready for what we know is coming. Civil war. God forbid. There's even a movie coming out on it in a few months. And with Trump in a corner, fighting back with his dukes up, fighting the deep state every inch, not backing down. We can all learn a lesson. We can all learn a lesson from what's currently happening in this detestable country. I'm General Greene. I love all you. Of course, Jesus Christ is king. There is hope. There is a true solution in the name of the digital Noah's Ark. I've personally invested tens of millions of dollars of my own capital into what I believe in, what God himself has commanded me to build like Noah. We now have hundreds and hundreds of members from around the world with units of minimum 30 all the way up to 1,000 units. I've got diamond nuts, multi-millionaire ballers in the freaking project. And I'm 1,000x in this year on our world-class blockchain. What does that mean, Christopher? That's very simple to understand. It means we're going to tokenize, have our own token that represents the underlying asset of the 33.5 million no bank debt portfolio during economic collapse. And we're decentralizing worldwide because we can't put our cards all in one sovereign nation's basket. It's also why Bitcoin continues to explode higher, because smart money and investors, including BlackRock, know what I know. Get out of the banks, pour your money into real assets, buy Bitcoin, tokenize freaking real estate, and be a man. Be a man. Be a man. Be a woman out there. Be the traditional values that established the United States of America. Don't be weak. Be the man with a plan. Be a man with a solution. See that fire truck red right there? It's like a bull, baby. It's like a freaking bull. Charge! IslandProject.com. I love you, Samantha. I love you, Mavity. I love you, Skibby 50 Crash 1929. I know all well isn't in Canada. I know the amount of tyranny that you faced in Canada, how the truckers were treated. I know the tyranny you faced in New Zealand. I know the tyranny that you face in Australia. And I know the tyranny that you face in the United States of America, my country. And I am your American patriot, General Greene. God bless. We are the victory in Christ. Love you all. Links below.